Hey food fans, welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. This week we got a viewer request. Well, actually not this week. It came in the spring, but we had to wait till this time of year so that we had the ingredients ready. So this week's video will be Sriracha. So actually this is an incredibly simple recipe. There's a total of 6 ingredients. And there's no cooking involved. It's all a fermentation process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up everything we need in the food processor. If it won't all fit, it's not a big deal. We'll just chop it up, dump it in the jar, and then puree some more. So this recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of jalapenos. I didn't have 1.5 pounds. I only had 1 pound left in the garden. So the other thing we're going to use is these little mixed button. These are kind of a sweet hot, so it'll give a little bit more sweetness to the Sriracha. So let's get things chopping. So we'll throw in a few of these. We've got 1.5 pounds of the peppers. We've got 6 cloves of garlic, so I'll just throw in a couple each time. We also have a tablespoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of light brown sugar. I do recommend brown sugar. It does make a difference to the sauce as opposed to just using white. 1/2 cup of white vinegar. So let's get it chopped up. And you want about that consistency. Put this into the jar. So we'll put this in here. One thing, when you pick your jar, make sure you pick a jar big enough that there's quite a bit of space at the top, because this will expand as it ferments. The other thing is the jar was sterilized, so it's put in boiling water and cooked in the boiling water for a few minutes and then taken out. Just make sure it's really good and sterile. When you go to put the lid on, you want to make sure that there's nothing on this ring, so we'll give it a little wipe. And we'll do some more peppers. Alright, and last round of grinding here. Add in the rest of the garlic, rest of the vinegar, rest of the salt. Alright, so last bit of the ingredients are in. Give this a grind. And that ought to do it. Okay, so now that the jar is full, we're just going to wipe the top off. I'm using a little bit of vinegar just to make sure that it's good and clean. We'll give that a wipe. Try to make sure there's not too much straggler going on at the top. And we'll put the lid on. Okay, so once you put the lid on, you just want it kind of finger tight. You don't want to crank it right on. And then leave it for 2 or 3 days. After 2 or 3 days, you should start to see some bubbling coming up the sides. Once you see that, then you want to open the jar, give it a stir, and put the lid back on. And you want to do that every day for about a week. You can be a little shorter, 5 to 7 days, somewhere in there. If you can't find the red jalapenos, you can always use green, although it will mean the sauce is green, not red. The other option is to use Fresno chilies, which have about the same heat as a jalapeno, and they are red. So that's your choices. So we'll come back in a few days, show you the bubbling process, and then we'll finish it up in about a week. So we'll see you then. Okay, so we're back. For you it's been a couple of minutes, for us it's been a couple of weeks. We've been a little longer at this than we had planned to be. Life got in the way, not a big deal. You can leave this for up to 4 or 6 weeks easy, it's not a problem. So you can see, I put a piece of tape on the front just so you could see that it does expand as it starts to ferment. And as I told you that we do, we'll just show you now that it needs to be burped. If you also look, you can see the little bubbles, and that's the fermentation process taking place. So if you listen real close, you can hear it give a little toot. And you want to be doing that every day after it starts to bubble. So leave it, let it build up some pressure. And then every day you want to just loosen the lid, let it get a little air, put the lid back on. So the next step is we're going to give it a blend. One more thing, if you happen to notice that there's some mold on top, then it is garbage. I've never had it happen, but just keep an eye. So just check the top, make sure there's no mold, everything's good. So we're good in this case. So we're just going to dump it into a blender. Okay, give her a blend. You want to blend her down till it's a nice puree. That looks like we're pretty good. It smells really, really good. It also smells quite hot. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to dump this through a strainer into a pot so that we can boil it down a little bit. This will just get out any of the extra seeds that didn't get chopped up, or any pieces of pepper that are a little larger. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And you just kind of want to work it through the sieve. Okay, so that should do that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to bring it up to a boil, and then turn it back down a little, let it simmer for 5-10 minutes or so, just until it thickens up a bit. It's not going to take very long because it is already pretty thick. Okay, so it's been about 5-10 minutes, somewhere in there. Basically what you're looking for is just to make sure it's thick enough that it'll coat the back of a spoon. So I'd say we're pretty good right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this cool down, jar it up, we'll come back, give it a little taste, show you the finished product. So there you have it. A couple of jars of Sriracha. These will keep in the fridge anywhere between 6 and 8 months. So you've got lots of time to use it up. So let's give it a taste, see what it's like. That's really good. It's got a very sweet taste to it, and the jalapenos definitely catch you at the end. Very, very tasty. Lots of flavors going on. It's not just crazy hot, it's just got a little bit of a kick to it. Very, very good. So this is the third hot sauce we've done. This is Sriracha, as I say. We've also done a habanero hot sauce and a charred ghost pepper hot sauce, so make sure you check out those videos as well. If you like this video, hit the like button. Share it with all your buddies, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We put out a new video every Friday. So if you try this, let us know. Tell us how it came out, tell us if you liked it, tell us what you'd change. And don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. Man, that's hot.